Fantastic. It's great to have your company on Breakfast. Thanks for joining us with us at this time each week. And every time this week, of course. Every time, everywhere. All right, let's talk. Let's talk. That's sorted, isn't it, eh?
Done.
Great thing is I'm still learning how to talk. Every group has one. Some groups have more than one, and maybe it's you, the tight arse. Danielle Di-Masi, Lady Danielle Di-Masi, etiquette expert, joins me now to describe the tight arse. Yes. It is true that almost every group has it. If you have a group of friends, it's either you or it's at least one other person, isn't it?
Absolutely. Everyone has one.
All right. Generally speaking, how do you identify one? What are the common traits?
Well, generally you know who it is. They're the one that you go into a round of beers at the pub and then just happen to always have to go home before it's their shout.
Yep.
They're the ones...
And these are strategies that they've worked through.
Oh, it's just what they do naturally.
Yeah,
they have a real talent for it. Or they're the ones that I've heard stories where people have been given gifts and they've got an old card where they've recycled so it was a card to them and they've recycled presents. Yeah. So they're just common traits.
Do they, if you're a proper tight ass, would you ever feel guilt? Do you feel, if you are one, do you ever think, oh God, I know I should be doing it, but I just can't?
I can't answer for them because I'm extremely generous, Paul.
Yeah,
so I'm not too sure. However, they do know because a lot of times it's coming out more and more that people are communicating this, especially men with their friends, and they will say, you know, you're a tight ass or whatever they will say. So
you can joke, I mean, obviously there's no smoke without fire, so you joke about it, which is a way that you can bring it up with people.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, if you're not the tight ass, it gnaws away at you, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And people do resent having to constantly pay.
Absolutely. And so what would you prefer? Would you prefer someone to tell you, or would you prefer them to talk about, you know, you behind your back?
If you're a proper tight ass, you probably wouldn't care, would you? All right, let's talk about some scenarios now, which people these might be home truths for you, actually. You might recognise yourself in this. There is the prioritiser. The prioritiser is the person who spends a lot of money on themselves and so never has enough money to spend on others. Give me some examples.
Yeah, so I have a colleague that I've heard this friend through, and they will always forget their wallet, or they can never go Dutch, or they will miss their shout, but they'll all come in designer clothes, or oh, look, my new handbag, you know, and they've had to say, you know, we would like to spend money on, you know, all these amazing clothes and events or going overseas, but, you know, we have responsibility.
So essentially what they're doing is they're allowing their friends to fund their good clothing and things like that.
It's like a charity.
All right. I know of someone who was invited to a barbecue once and arrived to discover that there was a charge.
Right.
So everyone who went to the barbecue was charged an amount of money for attending. I mean, you know, what's that? I mean, that's tight arse, isn't it?
Un-Australian.
That is it's just not acceptable.
No.
All right, the partner. Give me the scenario with the partner, because this is a real worry.
Okay, first of all, it's not my partner, but it's a partner, and he is extremely generous. Pays her rent, pays for everything.
They live together.
They live together. They go halves in all their bills and expenses. Now, they went up the street and went halves in a bottle of wine, and she only ended up having one glass, so she asked for $5 back extra.
How can you have a relationship with someone like that? Seriously, what do you say? What's your advice? What should he do?
Well...
Pack her bags...
Yes.
...and leave them at the door. Don't you think? Seriously.
I think
it's
so.
It's an outrage. All right, give me I've came up with a suggestion. You're supposed to have suggestions.
Well,
so you've got a group of... What do you say? You've got the tight ass and you're going out to lunch with the group of friends that you've got. What do you say?
There's a few things that you can say. You can either say, it's your shout, or if you know that they're going to constantly skip out at the end, you can say, you know what, just for tonight, I've got my own budget reasons, so I'm going to just buy my own drinks or my own food tonight, because then you're not put out. But then there's other situations, like I have a friend that when their friend comes and visits, she asks for petrol money for that visit.
Oh, my God.
So in that instance...
You need another friend. But I quite like that strategy of you. Put it on yourself.
Yes.
So you say, look, I've got really tight budget restrictions at the moment, so I'm just going to pay for me because it's hard for me.
So redefine your relationship with this person, or go to their house to have, or invite them to your house, so then there's no extra money spent.
Brilliant, Danielle. Just very quickly, Channel 10, they've got us all actually putting logos on cups now to save money. Does that qualify as tight ass?
I think that's brilliant, because look, they've got a pen and a highlighter.
Yeah.
That's high budget.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's when you know
really
it's network TV.
Yes. Yeah.